welcome back everybody to the SSL 2016 Season 1. I am Valdez. With me tonight is Wool. And we just had Dark slap around Classic for about an hour. And we're going to move on to our next set.
It was basically like an abuse session. It was not, it was painful for some to watch.
It was painful, for sure.
Especially if you're a Classic fan who, you know, he's a multiple-time champion. He's one of the only players who've actually been able to win a Star League and also win a GSL. So let's take a look at these players, though, coming up next. We're going into a Protoss versus Protoss stats. You see his, records here. Not as dominant as Classic was in recent times, and you'll also notice that he's never actually won a real tournament before. The WECG qualifier does not count. That tournament never even happened.
Yeah, that's why it really doesn't count. Also losing the glasses there looks pretty cool. Here is Patience, looking good. You see he was able to take 2 sets in a row over Hero, a very, very strong Protoss. To make it here to the round of 8. Also, looks like he traded a win and a loss there against TY, one of the best Terrans right now. So Patience definitely looking better and better the more I see him. Yeah,
I mean, if you saw his stats down there at the bottom, I know it was in Korean, but he's got like 2 round of 32 performances. Like everyone was a Naver Star League last year, and the other one was GSL, I believe. But he does very well overseas. He does very well in online tournaments. He's another one of these Korean mercenary players, if you will, on Dead Pixels, the team that Fantasy was a part of. And Dead Pixels is a great team. I'm glad to see these foreign teams kind of pick up some of these players. I'll talk about it a little bit more because we're going to jump to this interview video.
네, 준비를 많이 해와서 이렇게 다음 라운드 준비를 이렇게 치러야 될 것 같아요. 제가 다 쓸어버리겠습니다.
스프전도 자신있고 모든 종족전 다 자신있어요. 8강 때 제가 누가 최강자인지 한번 보여드릴게요. 대엽이 형 승장 당하기 싫으시면 연습 많이 오셔야 될 것 같아요.
Did I hear that correctly? So, like, if he doesn't want to lose 3-0, he's going to have to practice a lot?
I think that's what he said.
We'll see. I mean,
strong words from Patience.
I think PvP is a matchup that's really fun right now. I would definitely give it 2 thumbs up. It's my favorite matchup to watch right now in Legacy of the Void, but this matchup could go either way. I think Patience should be careful throwing words out like that.
Well, yeah, he's got a big matchup here against one of the better KT players over here in stats. And I'm just really looking forward to getting into this match, man. It's going to be a PvP. We just had one PvZ. And it looks like the first map is going to be Runes of Ceres. Very big map.
That's right. Without his glasses, I have to say Stats does not look as much like Waldo.
Yeah.
No,
he's evolved, man. He's turned into a more attractive nerd. I don't know what else to say. He looks better.
That he does. It looks like the map is loaded, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to get into game number 1 on Runes of Ceres, our biggest map here for this first Protoss versus Protoss with Stats and Patience here at the SSL.
Welcome to set number 1 here for our PvP between Stats and Patience. Up in the top right, in the red, it is Stats from KT.
And his opponent cross spawns in blue. It is Patience. Now, looking at Patience's icon slash emblem, slash pen, whatever you want to call it. It's one of my favorite things we have here at Star League. It really sets it apart from other tournaments. Is an hourglass, which Wait, I wanted to read that.
Looks like he
graduated from, I couldn't read
somewhere.
What. Yeah. Too
Congratulations to that guy.
Too slow
Graduated from somewhere.
He did it. But yeah, his Patience's emblem is an hourglass, which usually a lot of Korean pros have been referred to as like timing-oriented pros. Like if this player doesn't win by 15 minutes, he never wins, or he always wins between 14 minutes and 17:30. And you know, some people like to participate in weird websites where they predict things and put money on it and stuff like that. Like they're really interested in that. But I just look at this emblem, and it must mean most Koreans are saying that Patience is strong with timing attacks, and that once the time runs out, you know, he loses in the late game. I'm guessing because he's not a very late game oriented player in my experience casting him.
Yeah, I'd have to say the same myself. You know, maybe we'll be proven wrong this time around, but from what I can remember, that is the case. It looks like a slight differing of the builds. Patience is going to go for a Sentry and an Adept. 2 Adepts are going to come out here for Stats. And with that, Stats is going to be able to get the earlier Mothership core. So we'll get a bit more energy on that and could possibly pressure with these 2 Adepts.
This is a cool little move here to grab the Watchtower by Patience. I like this a lot. It's going to be cleaned off, but he sees that 2 Adepts are coming very early on. And the Stargate coming up faster here for Stats. And by faster, I mean he's the only one getting one. This is just going to be a double stalker from Patience. Means he is going to have to do some damage with that. He's going to grab a Nexus behind this. See if Patience grabs even 2 more Stalkers. That would probably indicate he's going to grab an early Blink here. And it's actually just going to sit back and stomp these Shades, force a cancel there.
Yeah, and we are going to see an Oracle come out here for Stats. We'll see what kind of damage that will be able to get done. And Twilight Council coming down here for Patience.
Looks like he's actually just going to let him shade in and use the overcharge this time. He's basically saying, if you shade in, I will overcharge you. I will end you.
He's going to catch a free probe by doing that, so not bad. Finding whatever damage he could get done.
Meanwhile, one of Stats' Adepts did commit to harass and was killed. I don't think without getting any damage done. He's going to commit to this Sentry and get nothing. A very expensive commitment there. I suppose only forcing some energy to be used on the Mothership core. But this means when the Oracle comes in, could be more powerful.
That is true, but it does look like Patience has identified this by the Adept that he did send in earlier for the Scout. Stats going to try to get some damage done here. Uh-oh, Patience right now moving his units actually out of position, going to rely on that Mothership core.
Yeah, he's got just enough for 1 overcharge. Going to try to find an angle on some of these probes in between the bases. Going to get 1 probe here, but it might cost him. That Oracle needs to fly outside of the range of that overcharge. And it is going to be, as predicted before, a Blink build here from Patience, which Stats has now seen. And he gets his own robotics at home, as well as a Forge. As he knows, this game is not going to end anytime soon. That's kind of how PvP goes, is if you don't kill your opponent or get some sort of large advantage. Oh!
Oh, man, that Stalker was in the animation and then decided to give up halfway through.
Yeah. But the defensive advantage for PvP is so great that it's hard to kill someone in this matchup. That's why this matchup kind of goes to late game a lot of the time if the early game doesn't go crazy one way or the other. Or we'll have like some DTs with no detection or something like that. So getting this faster Forge I do like for Stats. Does need to use it though if he wants to gain that large advantage.
Yeah. Still just the Blink coming around here, being kind of boosted for a while now. And adding 3 more gates in total.
Ooh, 4 more. And this is going to get scouted by this Oracle. Huge scout here.
Saves it as well. Forces another overcharge, so I don't know, seeing that and knowing that the Blink is coming in here, he did see that Twilight Council before. It's going to be interesting. I mean, he is already getting some Immortals out. He's got 1. He actually started the +1 upgrade, but then canceled it in favor of another Immortal because he is a little bit scared. He needs to be careful. Already 7 Stalkers are out on the map right now for Patience.
Yeah. Stats also confirms with that Oracle that those gateways were not canceled. He didn't pull a Tasteless or anything like that. Ooh, and this is also another great scout because he sees that Patience is still considering taking a 4th base. Keeping that Oracle alive is so important right now. I think he might lose it if he's not careful. The Stalkers have Blink. Okay, just barely gets onto the high ground there, loses vision. Both players are very aggressively scouting each other to get information right now. Like we see this observer poking at this. Stats is constantly updating his information right now with this Oracle. Stops that pylon from going down, which is pretty important. Really cool play. No one is gaining much of an edge right now. The blink is nearly finished for Stats, so that advantage will be taken away. And we are going to see he is the first to go for the Disruptors.
Yeah, Stats, he also, I think, does have a, yeah, he does, on the production tab, a slightly faster Nexus, as well as that +1 attack already halfway completed. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe Patience has even a Forge
I think you're right. Yeah, he does not have one. I just checked. So that's totally missing from the equation here. So this Dark Shrine could even be very powerful as well. Losing an Observer here, too. Everything is starting to point towards Stats getting these small advantages. Patience committed a lot to Blink Stalkers, but he hasn't been able to do anything with them. He hasn't even been able to kill this Oracle.
Yeah, you can see the army supply right now is definitely in favor of Patience here. He needs to get some damage done right now in order to make this worth it. You said it before, it's a big commitment. Already 3 Immortals are out here, but still a lot of gateways were made. Patience is going to look to put on some damage at this third base.
Oh, he's going to go for a Disruptor as well. Very expensive. This could be Patience's window of attack. He also will have to use DTs most likely to defend this because it's going to be tough to just rely on those Immortals alone. Oh, he's going to elevate her into the main base with some of these units. A huge misclick, though, on those Stalkers.
But still, a huge amount of units are into the main, and the rest of them are going to get elevated up.
And you get Force Field here as well with these sentries to trap some of these units on the outside. Mothership Core gets targeted down. There's the Force Field on the ramp. And oh no, huge Warpits here. A great Disruptor shot goes off before it goes down, but will it matter? He's got so many Stalkers here in the main base. Stats is constantly Force Fielded out, and he can't get even a Warp Prism to ferry them up because he's unpowered on his Robo.
Yeah, these Stalkers beginning to do more and more damage here. And as you said, and unpowering those units, just going to try to blink down possibly. But actually, he's kind of just baiting it, you know?
Yeah, he's
waiting until the units get into the main and then blinking out.
You're exactly correct. That's exactly what he's doing. Here, look at this. Another cool elevator tactic, but now he's surrounded on both sides. The Warp Prism goes down with expensive units in it, and this attack has started to really falter. Now he's down quite a bit in supply. You know, a lot of that was because he missed a warp in because of that Warp Prism, but he warped it in at home. But still, Stats now has Disruptor tech. He didn't lose his robotics.
Yeah, and look at this. The Observer is close by the third, but the DTs are coming in. I think that Observer is actually moving out right now.
Yep, just
so now the
away.
DT is going to get a bunch of these probes, so he needs to target there.
Oh,
one of the maximum amount of damage. Oh, this is just
it. GG! Fangirls are screaming. That was a close game.
Yeah, that was really interesting. We said it before, he needed to get a lot of damage done with that attack, but I feel like it was looking good for a while, but then just slowly Stats was able to push him out, and then once he ran out of energy to force field the ramp, Stats just walked up and took a nice fight. I think Patience should have just left, but even if he left, he had already lost a bunch of units. He was going to be playing from behind, so it was kind of a rough spot there.
Yeah, losing that one Warp in and also losing the Prism with an Immortal in it was just really, that's when things started to fall apart. I really thought Stats' number was up on that one, though. I actually thought he was not going to be able to ever get up there. I think if he had microed the sentries a little bit better or warped in a few more sentries, that game was like over 100%. But a really close and fun game. PP, right now my favorite matchup, as I said it before, to cast, because it just gets crazy.